In this video, we will study about UDDI, right? So, UDDI stands for Universal Description, Discovery and Integration, right? So, we understood that when you have a web service with you, you have to publish this in UDDI repository. Okay, and what will you be publishing here? The WSDL file of a web service will be deployed or will be dumped into this UDDI, right? So anybody who wants to access your web service will go and search in the UDDI. It's a public repository kind of thing, right? So it's also an XML based standard for describing, publishing and finding the web services, right? So UDDI uses WSDL to describe interfaces to web services. So it stores all the WSDL files of different people who are designing or implementing web services. So what kind of information does this UDDI stores, right? So a business or a company can register three types of information into a UDDI registry. I said that when you have a web service, we can automatically generate the WSDL file. And once this WSDL file is generated, we put this in the UDDI, right? So along with this, we also put some other information in the UDDI registry. We don't simply put the WSDL file alone. Why? WSDL file contains the technical details. It contains what are the operations or methods in that, right? It contains the data types. It contains the URI, the link to access the WSDL file. All technical information is there about the particular web service. But how do I know who is the seller of that web service or who is the one who created this web service, right? And how much money he will charge. So those things are also required. So along with the WSDL file, the company, the people who design web services actually store three kinds of elements. They keep white pages, yellow pages and green pages. So there are three more elements along with the WSDL file which will be dumped into the UDDI. Let's see what is white pages. So white pages contain the basic information about the company and its business. So who designed that web service, right? About that company, some basic information, basic contact information such as name, address, contact phone number, etc. will be there in the white pages. You searched for a web service in the UDDI. You liked one WSDL file. You found it is matching with your requirement. But you have to pay money to them. You have to access them. You have to create the network connection with them. So you should know some basic information about the provider of that web service. So that's why we have these three pages, right? So white page contains the basic contact information. Yellow page contains more details about the company. They include descriptions of the kind of electronic capabilities the company can offer anyone who wants to do the business. So the more detail about that. Here only the basic information we are giving, but here more technicality of what that company is doing, what kind of services it offers to outside people, right? Anybody who wants to do partnership with them, everything is there in that. Okay, the green pages is the one which contains the technical information about the web service, right? So the green page allows someone to bind to a web service after it has been found, because the green page contains the various interfaces, URL locations, right? The discovery information and similar data required to find and run the web service. So green pages is the one actually where we host or where we put our WSDL file. So the information about any web service is divided into three different pages, right? White, yellow and green pages. Let's see some simple examples of white page. See, in white page it contains the contact information. Okay, so the description is the name of the company is Example Corp Shipping Services, right? What it does, global shipping and tracking services. And what is the contact information? They have given the name, mobile number and mail ID. This is what is contained in white pages. See the yellow pages. In yellow pages I have more details about the company. So the name is the same company, but we are putting what is their unique ID to identify them, right? What is the key name, what is the key value, some more technical details about that company. Okay, so those information, see, NAC ICE code for couriers and express delivery services. So NAICS is one code, that what is that code, what we do, everything is there in that, right? So that is available in yellow pages. And the third one is green pages. It contains the actual information. So it contains the WSDL based binding for tracking, right? So the name is package tracking service, and it contains the, see, the URL is given here, right? So this way the information about a particular web service is divided into 3 different pages. So we have these 3 information. Along with this, we have the WSDL file as well, right? So this is about the UDDI. So the basic architecture diagram of UDDI you understood, right? The service requester will go and search for a web service from in the UDDI registry. He will get the URL, that binding URL, he will get that, and then he will send a SOAP request to the server web service, and it will respond back with the response, SOAP response. But the one who has designed the web service will be publishing the data into the registry. This is a basic web service architecture what we have already seen, right? So there are some data structures in UDDI. Okay, if I just go back here and see, we are talking about the T model, right? One data structure has been, if you see here, we are having business entity, one more parameter, right? So business entity is also used here, right? If you see, we are having binding templates, right? Business service. So what are these values? What is T model? I think here you can see we are having T model, binding template, right? Business service. So what are these values? So there are 4 data structures in UDDI, right? First one is business entity, then comes business service, then is the binding template, and the final one is T model. What are these 4, right? So business entity represents the provider of the web service. It tells us the provider of the web service. It describes the business for which the information is being registered. Okay, information about the party who publishes information about a service. So business entity is basically the name of the company and what is the service all about, right? Then the business service, the second one, it is the name and description of the service being published. What is the name of the web service and what is the description, what is the service doing? That information is there in the business service. It provides information about the information on how to bind to the web service, right? And what type of web service it is. So it is talking about the web service. Then the third one is binding template. So represents the actual implementation of a web service. It also provides the entry point address for accessing the service. So the actual implementing part, the technical information about the service entry point and construction specifications are discussed in binding template. And the final one is T model, right? It stands for technical model. It is a collection of information uniquely identifying the service specification. Okay, so to uniquely know what is the service about, that is given in T model. If you see back here, you see we are having the T model here. T model. So this is a unique key which is identifying the service, what is the service about, right? So these are 4 data structures what we use in the UDDI. Okay, basically UDDI is a repository which contains the all these information about a particular web service. Anybody who wants to access can go and search in the UDDI and get their web service, suitable web service, and do the business transaction requesting that web service to do a particular task. So this is about the UDDI, right? Thank you.